Welcome to episode 3 of Walking Wisdom Unmasked with me, Dr. Aman Bhonsle. Today we're going to talk about trolls and cancel culture. I kind of lost the introduction of this recording, so I'm recording it again. We're going to try to understand what propels trolls. We're going to try to get into their heads and try to find out how to best deal with them without getting too disturbed or without losing our faith or the validity of our arguments. So today's episode is all about the trolls and cancel culture that you've been exposed to, your loved ones have been exposed to. It's so annoying, so irritating. You wish you could press a magic button and get rid of them. But guess what? They are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. You just got to learn to deal better with them, and we got to understand them if we've got to fight them, if we've got to... What the hell is happening to my shadow? All right, I got to get this video started, and soon. All of us are, in essence, married to, not a person. We are married to our perspectives. Our perspectives, our thoughts about certain topics, about certain eventualities, about certain behavior patterns, about certain forms of governance, about a public protocol. We have perspectives on everything, and I guess that's kind of what makes human beings unique, is we are able to render perspectives, have discourse, maybe sometimes have an open debate in service of a solution which may or may not be found as a result of these efforts at talking it out, thrashing it out, negotiating, mediating, arbitrating. Sometimes these efforts don't yield the results. Everyone carries within them certain biases and prejudices against certain other things. But most importantly, all of us as human beings require some kind of blueprint, some kind of template to refer to, so we can really earmark our behavior, sort of benchmark how we have spoken, how we have lived, how we have acted, how we have worked, how we have related. We want to benchmark it. We want to assess it. We want to see how far away from the ideal path we have deviated. So we're constantly looking to measure this on some kind of scale, and whenever we look to measure it, we need to go back to ground zero, which is where our perspectives come in. What a lot of people don't understand about their perspectives is a lot of the stuff you believe is nothing but an archaic relic or family heirloom of ideas that you have inherited that belong to a time period not germane to the one that you're currently living in. So this was a time period when these ideas were perpetuated, they were popular. For example, an archaic idea that a woman must stay at home and cook. It belonged to a different time period when men would go out to war, probably get killed in the line of fire, and that would leave the women behind helpless and defenseless. So probably back then it was a good idea to keep them at home, leave them with the children, because the men went out to fight wars. But now, in a city where everyone's earning money, the rent's expensive, childcare, education is ridiculously expensive, does it really make sense to subscribe to this idea that a woman belongs in the house? Probably not. A woman belongs exactly where she says she belongs, where she wants to belong, where she's comfortable belonging. But this is the updated idea. But people with prejudices or biases against women or against anyone. Now we're talking about trolling and cancel culture, so we can talk about a prejudice about anything, whether it's your affiliation towards a certain political party, whether it's a certain celebrity you support, whether it's a certain type of music you listen to, whether it's a certain category of foods you eat, whether it's a kind of opinion that you keep and that you are very vehement and passionate about. People can be prejudiced about anything that you bring to the table, anything at all. It doesn't have to be something special or something that they even know much about. It just has to be something that freaks them out a little, that scares them, that feels unfamiliar to them. It has to be something that makes them uncomfortable or makes them wonder what it is that they have believed about the issue in question, whatever the hell the issue is. There is one thing about all human beings that you must remember, even if you forget everything I've said before, is that we're all given to habits, we're all given to certain proclivities, we're all extremely pattern-based, which makes us extremely predictable, not just to ourselves, but to everyone else who's going to cross paths with us. These patterns fuel our prejudice and our bias. These patterns are so well rehearsed, so well entrenched, that they become the only sensible way to act, think, behave, do business, live a family life, because there is no other ground zero, there is no other base to call home. This is your home. Your mind is your home, your attitudes are your home, and the attitudes that you have inherited from a different time period, from your family, become your ground zero. People update their phones, people update the furniture in their homes, people update their hairstyles. I've been cutting my own hair during the pandemic. People do all kinds of things. But seldom will you see people updating their attitudes, their biases, their prejudices, their beliefs. They won't update that. That's intangible stuff. And no one really comes to you on a daily basis saying, why don't you change your attitude towards life or work or family? No one has these conversations, because how the hell are you going to even define an attitude? For most of these situations, you don't even have the words to place a certain attitude. But yes, they do come under biases and prejudices, which largely we like to confirm for ourselves in a rather self-congratulatory and repetitive way, as if to say, I knew I was right, I knew I made sense, I knew I was relevant, I knew I'm smart, I knew he's an idiot, I knew she's a fool. You know, that is the most addictive feeling in the world, that self-congratulatory loop that we get into without being able to assume the perspectives of anyone else. Let's get one thing amply clear. I think all human beings, at least the ones I've met, and I've met quite a bit, several nationalities as well, all human beings have felt betrayal, humiliation, they've all felt disempowered, they've all felt a little bewildered by their circumstances or their families. I think everyone has gone through a period of duress. So I call this the shared duress, or the burden of shared duress that humanity shares. All of us have gone through it. All of us have been in situations that we had never ever imagined we would get into, met with people who we never ever imagined would want to harm us, or bully us, or belittle us, or cancel us out, or troll us. We never imagined that, right? We expect everyone to be with us the way in which we are with other people. So we take ourselves as a blueprint, as a base print. We say, hey, I'm a nice guy, I'm nice to others, so I expect everyone else will also be nice to me. But that isn't true, is it? Extremely important for us to update our attitudinal blueprints, because let's face it, folks, the problem of evil, the problem of greed, the problem of corruption, the problem of prejudice and discrimination exists, has existed, and will probably exist long after you and me are gone. When a troll comes at you, guns blazing, on your school group, your college group, your building WhatsApp group, those are minefields, I assure you. Or they come at you at a conference, they come at you at the office, someone's trolling you, someone saying, hey, you're a fool, you're an idiot, you don't know enough, you have no right to speak. Understand that they're stuck in their own attitudinal loops where they believe that everything that they say is right and valid, and everything everyone else says is invalid and absolute bullshit. It's a loop, it's a lie, it's a mirage, it's a myth, it's a prophecy that they've been living out all their lives, much to your frustration and to the frustration of others who interlock with them in any conversational exchange. Please, please, please don't let their reality become your reality. Remember, I said this earlier, it's a pitching and advertising exercise. The one who advertises their perspectives the loudest or the most frequently is the one who usually gets a lot of the attention, a lot of the mileage, and that's how they win, with loudness, not necessarily with logic and reason. So don't let what other people tell you about yourself, or what you think, or what you feel, or what you know become your reality or your ground zero. Remember, your perspectives are a very fluid thing. You may believe one thing tomorrow, suddenly you learn something new and you say, I guess that was poorly informed as an opinion, and now I have a new opinion. You know, the way we are constantly mending things. But you know, there was a time where if there was a tear in your shirt, you kind of mended it. If your button comes off from a shirt, you kind of put it back in. So this mending is extremely crucial. It's extremely important for you to stay updated and abreast of the latest happenings, for you to understand the cultural zeitgeist within which you live, for you to understand the limitations of the people with whom you interact, for you to understand that there will always be someone, somewhere, always trying to point a finger at you and tell you that you're full of shit, that you don't know what you're talking about. And that's where the trolls get their power and agency from. This endless desire to show others how smart they are, how right they are, how informed they are, how articulate they are, how vehement they are, how passionate they are, and just how hard they punch. So they're constantly looking to create some kind of dent, and this is their misinformed and slightly annoying way to do it. Folks, the truth of the matter is that no one owes you fairness, love, justice, kindness, compassion, or even respect. No one owes it to you. However, it's nice when you receive these things. But then how do we get treated fairly, you may wonder? How do we seek out justice? How do people respect us? Well, Here's the point. You got to teach them how to do that. Now, this has nothing to do with teaching people a lesson. This has everything to do with being assertive, being extremely clear, setting boundaries, telling them, hey, this is not going to fly, or being extremely fact-based, rational, sticking to the point, and most importantly, while dealing and consorting with a troll, be very mindful of the vocabulary and the language you use, because a troll is a master of diversions. Like a magician will distract you, say, look what's in this hand, and he's actually hiding something out here on his shoulder. Trolls are masters of deflection and distraction, so you've got to stick to the point. You can't go helter-skelter. You have to keep it topic-based. You can't make it personal. You can't make it about a person's gender, appearance, language. Stick to the points. Some people may tell you that, oh no, don't deal with them. It's all right. Forgive them. They're stupid. They're dumb. They don't know what they're saying. But we've all been down this rabbit hole. The temptation is there. The temptation is there. The temptation is there to prove to the other person that you are valid, that you are making sense, that you have a right to say what you want to do. The temptation is there and it's natural, all right? We've all been there. Of course, to endlessly engage a troll is to probably also give them the negative attention, or as we refer to them in transactional analysis, the kicks that they so desperately want, as if to reinforce to themselves, no one agrees with me, no one loves me, no one appreciates my intelligence, no one has value for me. This is what they're thinking. No one has given me due credit for all the brilliance that I represent. They want to believe that. They want to believe that. So they will create and orchestrate situations where people disagree with them, shout at them, tell them, no, 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 this is not how it is. And then they feel fantastic and wonderful about what they have done. And they say, that's it. I got my bout of the day done and out of the way. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Anyone, all right, look, I'm back. Anyone looking to pick a fight, anyone looking to muddy the waters or create a distraction, usually is also looking to be recognized. Don't ever forget that. So people have various reasons why they want to be recognized by other people, and that's very important to understand, all right? And I'm going to explain that a little bit before ending this video. The need to be recognized harkens back to a child's need to be taken care of, managed, fed, bathed, taken to the bathroom. And every human being has this need. It's very primal to our existence, to work and cooperate and sort of operate as a society, as a community, as a whole, as a team, so to speak. Most trolls are simply looking for a way to be noticed and recognized. So to that extent, you can kind of feel a little bad for them as well. Maybe they're not getting enough attention at the workplace, at home, from their spouses, from their parents, from their siblings, from their society, or from their group of friends. Malicious bullying and vile behavior stems from 5 places, as elaborated by my mother, the highly reputed and well-known Dr. Aman Bhonsle, Ph.D. She calls this the Siddhu model. This is something she taught me when I was young. She said, all right, if someone's being unpleasant with you, if someone's trying to push your buttons, here's where it comes from. It's called the Siddhu model. Siddhu, S-I-D-H-U, all right? S as in stupidity. Sometimes people are not very bright or they're not exactly informed. They may be a little stupid. We're not calling them morons, but we're saying they're just not capable of any better. The second one is ignorance. Sometimes people don't know what you've been through, what you are going through. They don't know anything about your life journey, or they don't know what informs your perspectives. So because of their own ignorance towards your conditions and their lack of empathy towards it, they may behave in a slightly direct and sharp way with you because they don't know you. They don't know you. They don't understand where you've been and where you want to go. D as in disturbed. Now, people are emotionally disturbed for a variety of reasons. Maybe things aren't going right for them at home, at the office, or anywhere else. Things are just not lining up. Everything's going to shit. Everything's out of balance. So if they're disturbed, that's what they're going through inside, and that's what they're likely to put out there. Not in the universe. That's what they're about. That's what they're likely to put out there in the surroundings that they are in. Basically, if you have a lot of hate, you carry hate, you're going to give out a lot of hate because you have a surplus of it. That's what I mean. So they're disturbed, they're angry, they're agitated, they're off kilter, and because of that, that's what they have to offer. I mean, it's like this. If I have a cold and there are 2 people around me and I start sneezing, they're going to start sneezing too. That's the logic. You're disturbed inside. You're going to make sure everyone else suffers as you did. Some people are like that. H and U of the Siddhu model, we've already discussed SID. H is habitual. People are sometimes habituated to being unpleasant. Maybe they were brought up by an impatient, slightly irate mother or father, and that's what they have learned to emulate unconsciously. Utilitarian. Sometimes people are extremely curt and extremely brash in the way they behave with you, because in seeing you vulnerable and weak, they get something out of it. So, for example, if your boss trying to intimidate an employee, his fear will serve you well in making sure that he does all the work, that you don't have to worry about things, and that you have a nice scapegoat lined up for you. So that's the utilitarian aspect of it. Where, look at me, I'm stammering. What the hell is happening to me? Oh, winters, right? All right, to sum it up, we now know why trolls behave the way they behave. They're stuck in loops, they're slaves to their perspectives that they have inherited. As I said, they're archaic family heirlooms. These ideas don't belong to the time period they come in. We've spoken about the Sidhu model, and we understand now that a lot of them are just looking for attention, just looking to get their kicks, as we refer to it. So while we know why they act out in this way, but what's important for you to remember is that it is your job to protect your turf, to protect the integrity of your arguments in the face of a troll. Because if you don't teach people how to treat you, if you're not assertive, if you don't stand up, if you don't say, hey, this ain't gonna fly with me, this ain't cowboy country where everyone shows up with their guns. Let's be reasonable, let's be respectful. And yes, that means sometimes you're going to have to be the larger man or the larger woman and try to set a tone, try to set an even tone. Of course you'll fall flat on your face, haven't we all? But the moral is, do not readily and so simply and so gullibly buy into the perceptions of people who are trying to cancel you out, scratch you out like you're a bad remark or a spelling mistake. You're not a mistake, man. Even if your views are poorly informed, even if your views are simply vehement but lacking in logic, they're yours, So it's important for you to gain as much information as you can so that you don't make a vacuous argument, so that you don't appear like someone who's just out there to say things without really knowing what they mean. It's important for you to be informed. It's important for you to be articulate. It's important for you to be rational. It's important for you to also be a little empathetic. Feel sorry for these people. Feel a little sorry for them. It's all right, man. What they say isn't going to change your life. Of course, you might get riled up as well, and that's normal. Don't punish yourself internally for having a reaction, getting a little upset, or really arguing back with them and engaging in the dogfight being what it is. Don't blame yourself. I think all of us have been there. But what's most important is to learn from these experiences, and it's very important to know what to avoid, who to avoid, so as to not disturb your way of life. So to that extent, avoiding trolls and cancel culture is also a process of curation, a process of great care, a little bit of compassion if you feel it, if you're ready. But most importantly, do not start disbelieving yourself. You've had a life journey, you've been in the gutter, you've also scaled the peaks. We've all been there, we've all suffered, we've all understood that life isn't something that you discover in a documentary. It's something you gotta, bruise and scratch your way through and crawl your way through, because life doesn't give you ready-made answers on how to be happy or how to be rich or how to be successful. You gotta discover that shit for yourself. So you've had a journey. Believe in that journey. Even if you've made a few mistakes, and I've said this in my previous videos, you made a few mistakes, you've done some dumb shit. It's all right. It's all right. We've all been there. And most importantly, do not let the trolls or the proponents of cancel culture cancel you out, because hey, you exist, hey, you are important, and you have every right to feel a certain way, believe a certain thing, and vehemently protect a certain idea that's important to you. So to finally sum it up, the cars go parking, the dogs come barking. I just made that up. I don't know if that even makes any sense. Every time you try to park your car at a certain place, and of course if there are street dogs around, they're going to start barking, saying, hey, you're in our territory. I have no problems with dogs, but think of these trolls and people who believe that they want to cancel you out, and these people who want to, sort of get to you. Think of these people like those dogs that keep barking and sort of telling you, hey, you're in our territory. Hey, don't speak. Hey, shut up. Hey, go away. Hey, you're a fool. Hey, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Think about them as those distractions from the moment, but not from the journey, man. Your rules, your faith, your mistakes to make. And that's the life journey that you're on, man. You're going to see things, you're going to do things, you're going to learn things, and it's going to help you be better informed. So don't be afraid. Don't get cowed down. Don't get confused. You are who you are. You're exactly where you need to be in that moment of time. So really commit, learn to commit to your perspectives. Don't be afraid of what others think. They're going to think about something else or someone else, regardless of what you say. And don't expect that your vehemence and passion is going to infect them with a certain way of thinking. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. But if you put up a reasonable, rational, and vociferous argument, it also shows the others who are trying to poke you that you're not going to back down from a fight. If someone comes knocking at your door and saying, hey, 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 you reply back with a knock saying, ho, ho, ho. Speak your truth, speak it well, speak it with passion, speak it with honesty, speak it with clarity, speak it with rationality and balance, and back off. At some point, of course, you got to back off. Because otherwise, you're just giving them the attention that they want, that they think they deserve, that they think they have earned. And here you are wasting precious hours of your day trying to argue. It's like trying to punch a brick wall. You guess what's going to happen? The brick wall is going to stay where it is. Your hand's going to be a little sore. So be careful of this. Be careful of this situation. Be careful of who you're talking to, really, because a troll is unlikely to back down. They are unlikely to understand reason because their prejudice and biases mean far more to them than the mind space or the propensity within them to learn new things and develop themselves. You know your truth, you spoke your truth, you experienced your truth, and it was nullified, and that's just how life is, really, because there are several versions of the truth floating around. Everyone believes that what they are saying and what they are thinking is right. Protect yourselves, know when to back down from an argument. Street dogs and walls aren't exactly prone to the negotiation process. It's a very nuanced process, to talk, discuss, find the midway ground. Not many people are comfortable with it. Not a lot of people know it as well. And that also harkens back to the way they grew up, the kind of things that they witnessed in their homes. Was it a very authoritarian household, a very liberal household? Was everything done with mass consensus or were directives passed down? So just move on, man. The trolls be coming. Your feet be running. Sometimes you run towards them and say, back off. Sometimes you run away from them and say, I'm done.